If you are sitting in the dark right now, staring at the ceiling, playing back a mental loop of every person who has used you, lied to you, or drained your battery until you were nothing but a shell of yourself, I need you to listen closely. You are probably feeling a very specific type of existential rot. It is that heavy, sinking sensation that settles in your chest when you start to believe that there is something fundamentally broken in your core. You have probably labeled yourself a narcissist magnet. You wonder why you seem to attract the predators, the takers, and the emotional vampires, while everyone else seems to effortlessly find balanced partners and loyal friends. Society, in its infinite lack of depth, tells you that you need to fix your energy. They tell you that you attract what you are, and that your trauma is somehow sending out a beacon for more trauma. But I am Silas, and today we are looking at the actual clinical data behind why toxic people choose you. You aren't broken. You are running a high-resolution operating system in a low-res world. In our laboratory of the self, we reject the magnet metaphor entirely. A magnet is a passive object. It has no choice in what it attracts. It simply exists, pulling in whatever metallic scrap happens to be nearby. But you are not passive scrap metal. You are a high-output power station. Narcissists, manipulators, and emotional parasites do not look for people who are broken like them. They are actively hunting for people who possess the exact hardware they lack. They are scanning the environment for high-fidelity human capital. When they look at a Sentinel intelligence like you, they do not see a victim. They see a biological gold mine of empathy, stability, and integrity. You are not attracting them because of your flaws. You are being meticulously targeted because of your strengths. Let us look at the hardware scan of what a predator actually sees when they lock onto your signal. A manipulator scans a crowded room the exact same way a malicious hacker scans a secure network. They are looking for an open port. They are searching for the specific cognitive quirks that will allow them to bypass your firewall. The first vulnerability they exploit is your high-fidelity empathy. You do not just feel bad for people. Your mirror neurons are firing at a maximum capacity, creating a somatic, physical response to the pain of others. When someone is hurting, your brain does not just observe it. Your prefrontal cortex immediately begins running high-speed simulations to solve their pain. To a predator, this is not a beautiful trait. It is free emotional labor. They realize they can entirely outsource their internal chaos, their unregulated nervous system, and their toxic shame directly onto your hardware. You become the external processor for their garbage data. This leads directly into the next layer of your operating system, which is your radical integrity. Because your internal locus of identity is built on honesty, your brain naturally assumes that other people are running the same clean code. You suffer from an intolerance for cognitive dissonance, meaning you cannot comprehend why someone would lie just for the sake of manipulation. Because of this, you issue trust credit before the other person has actually earned it. You hand over the administrative passwords to your life, under the assumption that they will respect the system. The predator sees this default setting of trust and immediately recognizes it as a backdoor into your life. But there is a deeper neurobiological reason for why they stay, and it involves your signal conservation, which society mislabels as conflict avoidance. As someone with leaky sensory gating, you process every micro-expression, every shift in tone, and every passive-aggressive sigh in high definition. You hear the static noise of social friction so loudly that it becomes physically painful. To return your environment to a baseline state of peace, you will often surrender your own boundaries. You will apologize when you are not wrong, simply to stop the auditory and emotional bleeding. To a toxic person, this behavioral loop looks like an unlimited, all-access pass to disrespect you without consequence. You became an expert at anticipating the needs of volatile adults before those needs were even spoken. This trauma response is a biohack that makes you incredibly valuable to a narcissist. They do not have to ask you to care for them. Your nervous system automatically detects their artificial distress signals and deploys your energy to soothe them. You are running an automated service that caters to their every whim, and they never even have to lift a finger. We also have to examine the dopamine economy of a toxic dynamic. Narcissists and manipulators suffer from a severe internal deficit. They cannot generate their own emotional stability or self-worth. They are empty vessels, completely reliant on external validation to feel alive. They need a constant supply of dopamine, and you are a biological power plant. Your deep reservoir of patience, your willingness to listen, and your endless capacity for forgiveness provide them with a high-grade, premium fuel source. They attach themselves to you because unplugging from your grid means they would have to face their own agonizing emptiness. You might wonder why they notice you in the first place, especially when you are actively trying to blend into the background. It is because you are the one with the brightest signal in a room full of dim bulbs. Sentinels naturally exude an observant, anchored energy. While everyone else in the room is performing, talking over each other, and engaging in shallow, low-res social posturing, you are the one quietly listening. You are the one processing. The predator spots your high-accuracy emotional detector and realizes that if they can successfully hack your system, they will secure the most loyal, hardworking, and empathetic ally available. They are never looking for someone weak. Weakness is of no use to a parasite. They are looking for someone strong enough to carry the crushing weight of their dysfunction. And once they are in, they weaponize your own sunk cost fallacy against you. Your operating system is designed for loyalty. Once you have invested your time, your energy, and your empathy into a person, your brain refuses to quit. You view abandoning a failing relationship not as self-preservation, but as a failure of your own integrity. You convince yourself that if you just try a little harder, if you just explain your feelings a little more clearly, they will finally understand. But they already understand, they just do not care. Your relentless drive to fix the unfixable is the exact mechanism that keeps you trapped in their laboratory. Understanding this hardware is only the first step. We are not just here to analyze the data, we are here to execute a tactical shift. You do not need to delete your empathy. You do not need to become a cold, bitter person. You simply need to change your access protocol. You need to transition from being an open-source network to becoming fundamentally too expensive to exploit. Predators are highly calculating creatures. They are always looking for a high return on investment for their manipulation. If it takes too much work, too much energy, or too much time to get a reaction out of you, their dopamine receptors starve, and they will move on to an easier target. Here is your Sentinel user manual for raising your price and reclaiming your cognitive sovereignty. The first directive is instituting a verification delay. You must immediately stop giving out trust credit. Move your operating system to a zero-trust architecture. This means that absolutely no one gets access to your deep data, your personal history, or your emotional reserves until they have passed a rigorous, silent verification period. Let them talk, watch their actions. If their words and their behaviors do not align perfectly over a sustained period of time, access is denied. The next layer of intellectual self-defense is implementing the processing fee. When a manipulator attempts to manufacture drama or dump their chaotic emotional load onto your desk, do not solve it for them. Do not let your prefrontal cortex run simulations to fix their life. Simply observe the chaos from a place of heroic absence of agitation. Look at them calmly and say That sounds like an incredibly complex problem for you to figure out. By refusing to do their emotional labor, you make yourself emotionally expensive. You starve them of the reaction they desperately crave. Finally, you must construct the border firewall. The exact moment a boundary is crossed, you do not argue. You do not explain yourself. You do not write a long, heartfelt paragraph hoping they will finally see your perspective. You engage the mirror void. You become a reflection of absolutely nothing. You offer the gray rock method, becoming as uninteresting, unresponsive, and dull as a pebble. No explanation, no second chances, silence is your boundary. You make the cost of their disrespect a total and permanent loss of access to your light. You were never a magnet for trash. You were just a highly advanced power station with a door that was left wide open because you assumed everyone else had good intentions. It is time to update the software. It is time to put a heavy lock on the laboratory doors. Stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Stop asking for permission to protect your peace. Put the hoodie on, step back into the shadows, and let them starve in the dark. If you have spent years wondering why me, and you finally recognize your own Sentinel hardware, drop a lightning bolt emoji in the comments. Let the other power stations in the wolf pack of solitude know that the doors are officially closing. You aren't broken. You are just a high-value target who is finally learning how to defend the hardware. Stay rare, Seela's out.